Hey, welcome to this week's devlog. This is Crack. This week we're going to be doing like a real-time kind of thing where I'm just talking while I'm playing the game. I apologize in advance for not having a pop filter on this mic. So this is the boot screen. In the future there will be different languages and options and stuff. So what we're going to do now is choose language and boot into the game. And then I'm just going to play through it and kind of give you commentary while the game plays. So here's the title. In the background, there's the story spiral that I've been working on the last 2 weeks. It's pretty nice. It's coming together slowly. Let's go explore it. So you can rotate the world left and right. And you can go up and down the story spiral. And these map locations are linked up to levels, so you can load into a level and play it. Like the boss level, for example. Now we're going to fight a hover tank. Yes, that was fun. And then it'll take us back to the story spiral, and we can choose to play a different level, like this air tank, or this air bike fight with the hover tank. So those are all working and in game. Uh-oh, got some blinking there. That's cool. I've also linked up procedural levels. So if you choose any level above like level 8, it will load a procedural level. So even if you move into like a Centel section, like a higher level up here, it will still load a HumaCorp procedurally generated level for now. I just haven't built these levels out. Eventually these levels will be complete and actual levels, not procedurally generated. But here's what a procedurally generated level looks like in the game. And then I'll beat one of these real quick and then play part of the story from a new game. Alright, that wasn't terribly difficult. So that's a procedurally generated level. It's really easy. So right now I will exit to the title. And then I can start a new game. And as I play through the new game, I'm going to talk about all the things that are missing and all the things that aren't the way that I want them to be yet, and I'm going to be pointing and clicking. So let's begin. Alright, so right off the bat, there's going to be a little bit more introduction here before we get into this dialogue. That'll happen this week. So let's go ahead and get through this dialogue, and through this introductory section. I'm pretty happy with where this intro tutorial section is. It introduces the basic game mechanics like climbing on the walls and climbing on cloth and these ropes, these fancy ropes, fancy vines. It introduces the world generally and the idea that the player is an AI machine. Introduces some weird experiments and stuff here. And then we get into more unique stuff like dashing and unlocking doors and stuff. And there's melee. There we go. And then what really makes the game unique is the super dash. And a lot of people struggle with this, and I think that's just because it's different. But hopefully people will get used to the controls like I have and enjoy them because it's a lot of fun. So lasers are unlocked now, and you can shoot lasers unlimited. So this level is designed kind of fun. There's the bottom way, the mid-bottom way here, and then there's this third way that you can climb up on top of vehicles, and then there's this fourth way where you can just kind of jump across all the hover vehicles at the top. So this is just introducing to the player that there's a lot of different ways to beat the levels, and as the designer I'm giving you a lot of options, and they aren't necessarily better than one another, they're just different. Some are easier and some are not. And then this leads into the very first cutscene. So, in this cutscene, I really want to have idle animations for these actors, because right now they seem really static and really stationary, and it just doesn't look good to me. So, that's what this cutscene's missing. Other than that, I'm relatively happy with it. The city background, like this level, this layer of art needs to be updated and improved. This is old placeholder art still. I'm just going to end this dialogue and skip through it. I really want this Voth vehicle on the left to look different, so I need to update that still. But this is the introduction to Chapter 1. And I'm going to skip all this dialogue too, and then just jump into the first mission after setting a loadout. I'm going to force players to set a loadout before they get into this first mission, because it's possible for players to skip speaking with Ollie right here, which he introduces shell mods. They can also skip this, and I really don't want that to happen, so before this first mission, the players can start right here. Jada, the leader, will ask them to set a loadout. So they would press A, then they would be asked to set a loadout here. We would set the loadout, and then eventually we would load into the first mission, this. So I'm just going to play the first mission and talk about things that are missing and what's not finished yet. Most of these vehicles are not really finished, like these box trucks and those trains up there. I just have the general outlines finished right now. Alright, so now we're in level 2 of the mission. So there's a lot of stuff missing here. There needs to be exhaust under these hover vehicles. I just haven't added those yet. Oh, I have added this new idle animation where she kind of blinks to let the player know, like, hey, get back to work. I'd like to add like a mini boss fight or something. It'd be cool if, like, when the hero was coming through here and jumped up here, that this tank popped and like this thing fell out and you had to like attack it and fight it, and like the music changed. That would be really cool. I also really want to add a lot of polish to this terminal. Like, this terminal needs to be animated, and there needs to be a lot more decoration when this terminal is hacked. This might also be a good time to introduce the Humacorp CEO, which is kind of like the bigger boss you'll be fighting in Chapter 1. And this goes into the second cutscene now. I want to add the idle animations again, and I want to polish the end of this a little bit more. And this doesn't lead us underground, it actually leads us up the spiral, so this will lead us to a lab that is in the sky. This dialogue's wrong. It's not in the old city either. The music should change here because this is a introduction to a boss. And there should also be... Okay, this next part should fade out a lot sooner. Like, as soon as this guy attacks, it should start fading out, like right here. But it takes a little while to fade out. But that sets up the first boss fight. So let's get that done. Rough. Yeah, so at this early point in the game, there's not a lot of mods available. You just kind of have to work with a laser and a jump. And if this boss is too hard, I'm probably going to make him a lot easier. I don't know. This is an early level, so it's going to be based on player feedback. I can't tell what's difficult anymore. Alright, so let's say that the player gets to a point where they're like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Yeah, you can just exit and it'll take you to the story spiral. And then you could just say, oh well, level 4 is too hard for me and I just want to get past that, so let's go play level 5. And that would be the hover tank in retreat. So if you, for example, just wanted to play the shoot 'em up levels, that's fine. You can do that from the story spiral. Or if you wanted to just speedrun one level and try and get this first level done really quickly, or the second level done really quickly, you can do that as well. Start over from the save as if you want. So I'm going to skip all this dialogue again and go ahead and exit to the title, or exit to the story spiral, I'm sorry. And then just kind of show off more of the story spiral. This is the Humacorp section, and as we get higher in the story spiral and get into later levels, you'll see it turns green, and there's a whole nother like biome full of levels and enemies and bosses up here. And then if we keep going up, we can see some work in progress stuff. I have these orbs labeled because I'm going to make them unique art, but they kind of rotate around each other in a unique way, so that's cool. And then there's still the Voth section, the higher levels left to do. I need to add all of the floating pyramids in here and depth of field buildings as well. All of this art needs to be painted over and finished. So yeah, there's a lot to do. So I'll take us down the spiral again. And then go ahead and exit to title. So yeah, that's where the alpha's at, and I'm pretty happy with it overall. I'm really looking forward to finishing it and testing it, and then moving into the beta where I can really start adding in content and levels and bosses. Yeah, so thanks for joining me this week. Thanks for joining me this week. You can play the free demo of Lazr at lazr.online. Lazr is available on Steam, itch, GameJolt, and Indie Expo.